4-digit conference code. Welcome to free conference calling. The conference has not started. If you are the host, please enter your 4-digit code. We will now connect you to your call. You are the first attendee in this conference. The host has joined the conference. Conference recording started.
All right, Israel, Most High in Christ, bless your body. So let's open up in 2 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter. Shalom, everybody that just jumped in. Most High in Christ, bless. Say 2 Thessalonians chapter 3. You started it? Y'all started it? All right. So now you got 2 Thessalonians chapter, not 3, it's going to be 2. Hold that, and let's get Matthew 24. What's up, Brother Felipe? Okay, Matthew, I'll read it, and then one of you brothers can take over afterwards. Matthew 24 and 1. Okay, it says Jesus, but we pronounce the Lord's name in Hebrew, Yahushua. Okay. And Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. Okay. Why would they show him the buildings of the temple? Maybe something was wrong with it. Okay, Israel. Hold up, Israel. Let me pause this for a second. All right. You know, Israel, we've always had a problem with taking care of the sanctuary. So I read it again, and then I'll show you in the scriptures where we've had a problem. So Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. Now go to the book of Haggai. Haggai chapter 1. And take this is the same temple. It's the temple that Solomon built in the name of the Most High, so that Israel could come and have a place of worship and serve the Most High. So Haggai chapter 1 and verse 1.
This is Haggai chapter 1 and verse 1. In the 2nd year of Darius the king, in the 6th month, in the 1st day of the month, came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet unto Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua the son of Josedek, the high priest, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, This people say, the time is not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built.
Right, so whenever Israel would go in and out of captivity, what the other nations would do was they would tear down our places of worship. They would go and they would destroy the temple, batter it, burn it, take it, pull it down, take the goodly elements. I don't think that most people don't understand the graveness of it, because it was costly things that was always built. It's just like you might have a nice house and then people go in and instead of gold, you see wooden fixtures. You see they'll take the fireplace, they'll take the mantle, they'll take the trim, the woodwork. They'll take that stuff. They'll pull that stuff or they'll take the fixtures. That's the same things that they would do, they did to the house of the Lord. But those things, the prophets and the kings of Israel, they, you know, mainly Solomon, they built that stuff out of gold. And so the average stuff that you see, those things were made and they were overlaid in gold. Okay? But things that got, you know, to the point to where the Israelites, they were just content to see the house of the Lord like that. These people say the time has not come. Oh, not now. Not now. The time that the Lord's house should be built. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Then came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet, saying, Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste?
So it was something present, and this house of the Lord had him to go and ask, this house is going to lay waste, but your house is not leaking. Your house don't have holes in the roof and creatures, you know, running through it. Your house is sealed, but not this house. So this is just an example to show you why the apostles would show Christ, you know, the temple. They had to be looking at something that needed to be repaired. Okay? So we'll go back to Matthew chapter 24 and 1. And Christ went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. So even during the time of Christ, the temple needed work. Sanctuaries need to be built. Even right now today, Israel, you have to formulate, you have to come together. Okay? Because what does coming together do? Coming together is definitely going to purge and wash you, make you clean. Somebody going to correct you. They're going to say something about your behavior, your bad habits that you self-righteously live in. You understand? They're going to say something about all of that. And that friendship that you're supposed to make in those places of assembly are not to be abrasive to where, you know, now you live and you're offended, you feel some type of way. That friendship in those places of assembly is meant to do the job that is set up in your, you know, in your life to do. That's to turn you away from sin. And in those places, over a period of time, people are going to actually really get to know you. They're going to know your strengths, weaknesses, your mouth, you know, positive, negatives. They're going to know your children. Understand? They're going to see you in sin. That's like they see you keeping the commandments. But the things that when they see you in sin, then they're going to go into, you know, correcting you about those sins and having something to say. You can't go into this thing here where you are like, I don't want to hear it. That's, what is it, Proverbs 28:9? Get that.
This is Proverbs chapter 28 and verse 9. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be abomination.
All right, so you can't do that. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law. The Most High will put you in a situation so that you can learn. You can learn, you can be taught, you can, what's up, Brother Ricky? You can change. And it's going to take the law to do it. You can't turn your ear away from hearing the law, meaning you turn your ears down. You make light of what's being said to you. When are some of the times we pray unto the Father when we in distress? The root word of distress is stress. When you're under stress, when you're under pressure, when things go wrong, when you cannot provide adequately the way that you would want to provide. Okay? When you pray for your children, we pray for our children all the time. But what did the Father say? He that turneth his ear away from hearing the law, even his prayer is a wicked thing. It's rejected unto him. So we don't want a rejected prayer, so what should we do? In the places of assembly, we have to formulate, we have to gather ourselves together and learn and not forsake the gathering of yourselves together. And if you see sin or you see something disorderly, where's Little Ron? He coming, okay. If you see sin or you see something disorderly, then you have a right to speak up and say, hey, this is wrong. You understand? You know, what's the scriptures pertaining to this? We can't justify ourselves in sin. You know, from the lowest to the greatest among us. So the greatest among us have to be what? A servant. Right. And you know what that servant consists of? Actually helping you see the things that you don't see. That's what the greatest among you is set up in the places of assembly that the Most High put together. Man didn't put these things together. The Most High put these things. The Most High did. And it's all based upon how you feel. The role that you play, the Most High see the role that you play, you know, you will increase. The Most High give you something to do, and then you do it, and He gonna give you something else. Okay? The only time it really gets hard if we have a problem letting go to pass. See, I would normally say the flesh, but it's really what? The past. Getting through, getting past, you know, where we come from. We got to keep moving, Israel. We got to keep moving. We have to grow. And you can't grow looking backwards. That's why the Lord said, no man putting his hand to the plow looking backwards is fit for the kingdom. You might feel that you're fit for the kingdom. You might feel that you want for the kingdom, but why did He say fit for the kingdom? Fit meaning it's profitable for the kingdom, because if the kingdom of the Lord is being set up now, and the Most High and Israel, the Most High is looking for people that's sincere to worship Him spiritually, and Israel is looking for people sincere with that special set of skills to where they are going to sacrifice themselves for the common good of people. And you, someone that's in this truth, but you got your hand on the book, but you looking backwards, are you really fit then for Israel? No, you're not fit for Israel. Israel, it's like they can't use you. So then you have to get ready. You have to prepare yourself so that you can be put in a position and situation to where, you know, like we read on Tuesday, good for the master's use. If a man therefore purge himself from these, from what? The things that are dishonorable, like the utensils and things inside of the house that are made of wood and earth. They disposable things. Things that are going to come to pass. Those things, whether it's a behavior, whether it's a personality, whether it's a chemical abuse, whether it's physical abuse, because some people are brawlers, you know, whether it's something that's, you know, spiritual, whatever situation or controversy that opposes your walk in the truth, you have to get those things in order to continue to qualify in the sight of the Lord, because that's where promotions truly come from. But how are you going to know what's right and what's wrong on your own? Because every man is right and pure in his own sight. How are you going to know what's right and what's wrong? you're going to have to be told what's right and what's wrong. And that's what the assemblies is on. It's here for. So people say, I don't like camps. I don't like this. I don't like that. This is of the Most High. Not only do people, when they say camp, which is in the scriptures, go out into the highways and byways, but they do things like this. They sit down and they address topics and they address the mind and the spirit of individuals. Because in these, a formal way, lectures, seminars, hearings, that's what but in these places of assembly, you are eventually going to hear something that's supposed to redirect your mind. It's supposed to help change your direction. It's supposed to help humble you from going against the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. Because along with that, there are judgments that are just. And those are some of the things that we don't want to face. So when we read Proverbs 28:9, he that turneth his ear away from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be rejected, because it's an abomination. It's going to be rejected by the Most High, not from man. Remember, man going to give you the law. The Most High is going to reject the prayer. Okay, so we have to keep that in mind. So we're done with that and done with Haggai. Go back to Matthew chapter 24, and now verse 2.
This is Matthew 24:2. And Yahushua said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
Right. So he's foretelling the destruction completely of the temple, and that it will is going to eventually completely be demolished. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you.
Right, so there's asking him, when is going to be the end? And what does the end consist of? Let's go to Acts. Acts chapter 1 and verse 6.
This is the book of Acts chapter 1 and verse 6. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel?
Right. So the kingdom that he's referring to is what? The kingdom that they're referring to, first and foremost, is talking about their own land. Their own land. I think that very few understood that the world was made for our sakes. Did you know that if you keep the commandments, and endure in the keeping of the commandments and applying yourself through faith in Christ and completely humbling yourself, through hard times, sufferings, that you can end up being smarter and have more understanding than our foreparents did in the past. And they're written in the scriptures. What would make me say that? because they fell off. They got judged to death. Yeah, they got judged to death. Of course, there are some that did the will of the Most High, and the Most High blessed them, and then, they still had to sleep with their fathers because it came to pass. They ran the course. But you do have the ability to be smart, to understand these things. So like I was saying, that their understanding was trying to get this back from the Roman Empire. Okay. John 8. Not 8. Having a place taken, was that?
Oh, 11.
What? Who? John 11. Okay, Israel, I'm sorry. John 11. Yeah. Yeah, John, right. John 11. At 8. John 11 and 47. Read that.
This is St. John chapter 11 and 47. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council, and said, What do we? For this man doeth many miracles.
So they're talking about Christ. They're saying Christ is doing so many things that he's turning people to him. Go ahead.
If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him. And the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
Right. So who was there? The Romans. Okay. So the apostles was looking to do what? To restore the kingdom back to Israel and take it out of the hands of what? Right, out of the Romans. Okay. But I don't think, I could be wrong. They walked with the master, and there's a lot of things that they didn't understand. 2nd Ezra 6. But I know that we have the capability of understanding this. Second Ezra 6 and 55.
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes.
Right. So if the Lord made the world for our sakes, what's some of the evidence that Israel did not understand this? This brother did. We understand the question, right? Some of the things that's that happened in ancient days that will lead you to believe that our foreparents didn't understand that the Most High, he made the world for our sakes, meaning earth. He made earth for us, for Israel. Read the next part while y'all think about that question.
Verse 56.
Right.
As for the other people,
go ahead,
which also come of Adam.
Right, because everybody come out of Adam one way or the other. Go ahead.
Thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle.
But like unto what? Spittle. Go ahead.
And has likened the abundance of
all of them, go ahead,
unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
Exactly. So, what would give us the intuition that our foreparents didn't understand this? 1 Maccabees 8. I'll give you an example. Okay, read that. 8 and 1.
This is 1 Maccabees chapter 8 and verse 1. Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them.
Same thing they do today. Go ahead.
And make a league of amity with all that came unto them.
So now, that's the spirit that's on the Romans. And what that means is they want to be one. They want one big old giant nation. They want everybody to be one people. And how do you get that way? Amity. We'll jump back to this. Go to 1 Maccabees, the first chapter. 1 and 41. Same people.
This is 1 Maccabees 1 and 41.
Right, so although Alexander and his lineage are Greeks, the Greeks and the Romans, they the same people. Okay, so now, King Antiochus, go ahead.
Wrote to his whole kingdom.
Right, his whole kingdom is referring to everybody that he subdued. Go ahead.
That all should be one people.
That all should be one people. So, what do you have to do to be one with this man? Read the next part, he's going to tell you.
Verse 42. And everyone should leave his laws.
So you would have to leave the laws to be at amity with him. So I'll look up the definition for you of amity. Go ahead.
So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
So now, do you think that they understood that the world was made for us, for you to agree with his religion? Because following his religion, we're reading that you would have to leave the laws. So now, amity. It says a friendly relationship. A friendly relationship. Did the Father tell us to have a friendly relationship with the nations? No, he told us to subdue the nations. Right, subdue them, crush them. Where's that God at that tell you to go crush? The crusher. All right. So now some of the synonyms: friendship, friendliness, harmony, harmony. People, everybody together. That's how it is now, ain't it? And when you speak against it, they mad at you, man. They say, oh, you teaching hate. Understanding accord. Understanding. So come to an understanding. We weren't supposed to come to no understanding. We were the understanding. So now you tell me who knows what. Cooperation, companionship, concord. None of those things were we supposed to. So what kept trapping our foreparents up over and over and over and over and over? Amity with the world. Friendship with the world is the enemy of God. It always says that, but we don't know and understand what that means. You have got to be ready to cut when he say cut. Mend when he say mend. Build when he say build. You got to be willing to do what he tell you to do. That's the people of God right there. That's the Israel that's of God. Israel that's of the Most High. When you're going to do what he say. But you can't get to that level in sin. Before you get to that level, you got to sacrifice. You got to be a complete sacrifice, man, in everything you do in your daily life. You have to complete those tasks before you understand this here. Okay? Yeah. So this first Maccabees 1:43. Yeah. Many also of the Israelites consented to his ways, to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath, meaning they just totally gave up and they forsook it. Shalom, sister. They forsook. Okay? So now, it's so much more here. Y'all can finish reading it as some homework. Okay? Let's lose that. And let's go back to 1 Maccabees 8, the 8th chapter. So I'll read it a little bit. 1 Maccabees 8:1. Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them. So that shows Psalms 83. They're going to accept whoever, right? All these people come together, okay? And make a league of enmity with them, meaning friendship with all that came unto them. And that they were men of great valor. It was told him also of their wars and noble acts which they had done among the Galatians, and how they had conquered them and brought them under what? Tribute. And what they had done in the country of Spain for the winning of mines of the silver and gold which was there. These were Israelites that they conquered, that ruled in Spain. Okay? We so used to the countries being washed out to where we don't really understand that this was a face of, melanated people that was there. Same with the Galatians. That's why there was a book that Paul had to write to the Galatians, because those were Israelites that was there. He's not writing to heathens. He's writing to the people of God. So now, verse 3, it says, check this out. And what they had done in the country of Spain for the winning of the mines of the silver and gold, which was there. So they went and they robbed our people, these Romans did, and took the wealth of the people. And that by their policy and patience. What policy, Israel? I just been teaching it to you for the last 3 minutes. You better say it. What policy? The enmity. My man, you're all over it. What is it?
The enmity.
And what does the enmity mean? Friendship. Watch your back. Watch your back. Everybody that's trying to be a friend is not what? Is not a friend. And because these nations try to be your friend, this is what got Israel defending them. You be all like this out in the street. No, don't kill him. No. You be protecting them. You become a human shield. Y'all seen that one? It's old now, though. The woman was saving a heathen from getting destroyed. All them old muscle-bound brothers was finna crush him. She got in there with her beady head and straddled him. She opened herself up. She's like, no, you don't touch him. Don't y'all touch him. Let's see what this says. 1 Maccabees 8:4, and that by their policy and patience they had conquered all the place. Their friendship and them having a spirit of and exercising some type of patience. How do you exercise some type of patience when you're gonna conquer a situation? You be nice for a period of time. You lead people to you leave the notion that, hey, I come in peace. How did that work out for our 10 tribes that was here? They got robbed in the whole country. It's stolen. My SUV, no matter what side of the city that we go in, even when we go into the heathen side, I'm still putting that lock on. And they be looking at me like, why you putting that lock? They stole the whole country, man. You think they don't steal? They stole the ground that we own. What is this truck? They steal. They steal everything, man. They steal too. So verse 4, and that by their policy and patience they conquered every place. This is the precepts, every place. Though it were very far from them. It doesn't matter how far or how close, they would go and get it. And the kings also that came against them from the uttermost part of the earth, till they had discomfited them and given them a great overthrow. This is the acts of the Romans. So that the rest did give them tribute every year. Tribute every year, what is that called today? It's called taxes. Same thing. Verse 5, read that.
Beside this, how they had discomfited in battle Philip and Perseus, king of Shittim, with others that lifted up themselves against them and had overcome them. How also Antiochus, the great king of Asia, that came against them in battle, having 120 elephants, with horsemen and chariots, and a very great army, was discomfited by them. And how they took him alive, and covenanted that he and such as reigned after him should pay a great tribute and give hostages, and that which was agreed upon. And the country of India and Media and Lydia, and of the goodliest countries, which they took of him and gave to King Eumenes. Moreover, how the Grecians had determined to come and to destroy them.
Right, wait a second. See, that shows you the Grecians and the Romans being what? Being one people. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And that they, having knowledge thereof, sent against them a certain captain, and fighting with them, slew many of them, and carried away captive their wives and their children, and spoiled them, and took possession of their lands, and pulled down their strongholds, and brought them to be their servants unto this day. It was told him besides how they destroyed and brought under their dominion all other kingdoms and isles that at any time resisted them.
It was told who? Judas. Go ahead.
But with their friends and such as rallied upon them, they kept amity.
So they're trying to, make, and this is, now listen. So if you follow along carefully, you understand. This is what Israel was trying to get. Instead of relying on the Father, who's always been our strength and might, they heard it because they're pumping this madness to Judas. Do you understand? But Israel was afraid of this. Instead of being afraid of this, they should have feared the Most High, kept the commandments, and then we wouldn't have to ever deal with this. But instead, we always saw the enmity of the nations. Okay, go ahead. We can finish this and we'll move on.
And they had conquered kingdoms both far and nigh, insomuch as all that heard of their name were afraid of them.
Right, the Romans. So all they had to do is say that, and then they would bring great fear upon them. Now instead of the Romans, it's the Americans. You know, so they don't hold that name. You know, now why? Because it's associated with the bloodshed, the murders, the atrocities, the oppression of the scriptures. So they're trying to run and hide from, you know, for secure. The same way that they have a name, we have a name. Okay. So keep going though, it's a little bit
Verse
more.
13.
Mm-hmm.
Also that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reign.
Also, whom they would help to a kingdom, those what? Those reign. So that shows you who sets up the kingdoms on this earth. This one people here. They setting up the kingdoms. If they say you reign, you reign. If they put you down, they put you down. This shows you why they would go into all the other countries. They would go into Saudi Arabia and kill the princes over there. They would go into Africa and kill the princes over there. Whoever they say it's time to come down, they would go in there and they would kill you. They would fabricate some type of story that, well, you hold weapons of mass destruction, or you are committing inhumane acts of genocide. You doing this, you doing that, you know. And then they would go in and then they would kill you. Because, okay, they like, now it's time for you to come down because you disagreeing. Okay, you might not want democracy. They set you up and now the spirit in you move. You're like, I don't want this democracy. Or you might try to stand up against, you know, something. And they said, well, we don't, let the people be. Let them do what they want to do. Okay? Because remember, America supports everything. Every and anything except the commandments of the Father and his chosen nation of people. Okay, go ahead.
And whom again they displace.
Right, that's what it said. And whom again they what? They displace. Go ahead.
Finally, that they were greatly exalted. Yet for all this, none of them wore a crown, or was clothed in purple, to be magnified thereby. Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house.
They made for them house what?
A senate house.
A senate house. Who has a senate house today? They still have a senate house today, and they call it the Senate, House of Representatives, democracy, Republican. Same thing, referring. Take the system. Just because it floated across the boat doesn't mean that it changed. If it ain't broke, don't what?
Fix it.
Don't fix it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. This thing is a vote. Go ahead.
Wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people, to the end that they might be well ordered.
Right, and that's what you see on television. You know, they show you that. You see all the roll of seats look like a small stadium, and they all be all here and all there, and like in a little semicircle and stuff like that. Right here in your scriptures, the same thing. 320 men sat in council daily. You know, they also gave you a peek of this thing too. When you see gladiators, who did the Caesar go to for counsel? Who?
The Senate.
The what?
The Senate.
The Senate. They went to the Senate. And who did Maximus, his last dying words? I know this is just a movie, you know, but they're just playing out and depicting how things went. His last dying words, what did he say was the dying words, or the words from, what was the man's name? Oh man, I can't think. I had it on the tip of my tongue, but I kept talking. Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah.
Marcus Aurelius. What did he want Maximus to do?
He wanted him to take
To return, no, not about the son. To return Rome
Place to the people.
back to the Senate. He wanted to return back to the Senate because the Senate had a council that they would constantly vote on, like you're reading daily, that they will vote on, and the Senate was supposed to be what? For the people. Now, does that system work? Sure, that's a trick question. Does that system work?
He says no.
I'm gonna ask you one more time. You sure? Y'all gonna stick with that? I want y'all to think. Think like a Roman. Think like a Roman. Think like a Roman citizen. Think like a Roman citizen. Does that system work? Thank you. For them, yes, it does work for them. You want me to tell you why? Because they vote on everything. No, brother. They vote on everything and they get it. You understand? Look at their cities. Their cities is garnished with all different type of things, man. Right? For them, oh yeah, it works. It works.
Right. I get it.
Yeah, for them it works. You know, they have unlimited funds. They pay their way. They want something. Oh, we have a meeting on it. Bam, it happened. And bam, it happens. You understand? For us, we don't squat work for us. They don't work for us.
Right. That's what
We've been voting forever. Nothing works for us. Look at our houses. Look at our streets. Look at our schools. Look at our medical reform. You understand? Look.
Yeah.
We ain't. That don't work for us. That don't work for us. Now, if we was in. Now, check this out. We'll turn the table and show you how things is for us. I'm thinking 100 miles an hour, so that's why I'm going to ask y'all to get it for me. Simon. Okay?
Yeah.
Where Simon helped us. See, now we're going to reverse the role. You should be fine. Now we're going to reverse the role and show you, instead of us having a Senate, we did have somebody that was for us. And him being for us, this is how he took care of us. Okay. Actually, I can lose that. I'm holding a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
Second Maccabees 13. Okay. Let's see. Sure.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't say him first.
14.
Okay. First Maccabees 14. First Maccabees 14. And hold up for a second. Give him a moment to get it. Okay. And 4. First Maccabees 14 and 4. Start there.
This is First Maccabees 14 and 4. As for the land of Judea, there was quiet all the days of Simon,
Right. So this is a high priest.
for he sought the good of his nation.
For he sought the good. Okay, we'll slow down. He sought the good of his nation. Just like the Roman Senate seeks the good of their people and not the good of no other people. Simon, he sought the good of his people and not the good of anybody else. Read.
In such wise,
In this way, go ahead.
as that evermore his authority and honor pleased them well.
Right. Go ahead.
And as he was honorable in all his acts. So in this, that he took Joppa for a haven, and made an entrance to the isles of the sea, and enlarged the bounds of his nation.
Right. When it says enlarge the bounds of his nation, that means he went and he would do leadership. He would stretch and stretch and stretch. And therefore, we had more territories. Remember, he's only thinking about one nation of people. Okay? Go ahead.
And recovered the country.
Right. And he recovered the country. He had the country back unto us. That means that all these nations, remember what the apostles was asking in Acts, the 1st chapter? Will thou now restore the kingdom again to Israel? This is a mini, pay attention, this is a mini kingdom of heaven. Because the kingdom was restored to Israel up under this brother here. And you're going to find out that we were free from all the different nationalities, from all the different nations in our land, driving up and down our street. Then they wasn't driving, they had a horse. Or just jogging. What the hell? What is this? You going to go for a jog? What did I just see, a white man? What is this? Did I just see a Chinese woman? Did I just see an Arab? What is this? You just walking down our streets. I get a call today. The brother's like shaking my head. He's like, man, these jakes just, these jakes over here, they just comfortable with this white boy. And he was saying that because I think it could be something fishy with it, you know. So it's somebody in the neighborhood that these jakes let work on their houses and stuff. So he's going from house to house to house to house doing something, right? He might be some type of undercover, because the ones that are doing all of this hiring, they ain't the straightest people in the world. You understand? People, they go undercover. And they'll do all type of stuff to get all type of information to bust and bring you down, man. But in Israel, we ain't have that type of stuff. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 7. And gathered together a great number of captives, and had the dominion of Gaza and Bethshur. So
now if you had captives, what are you going to do with the captives? Are you going to slay them? What you going to do with them then? You going to put them to work? How many you want, dog? How many you want? You don't know. He don't know. But how many of these captives would you want? 100,000. Damn. Oh, praises. Oh, 100,000. Hey. All right. Ooh, you went way over. That's cool. Okay. 100,000. I ain't gonna ask nobody else because that's a. I can't deny. Hey, so 100,000. That's a few. That's a couple cities. You run a couple of cities of heathen and pagans and whooping them in shape.
Yes, sir.
All praises. 100,000. All right. So, captives. Go ahead.
And had the dominion of Gaza and Bethshur, and the tower, out of the which he took all uncleanness.
Right, so anything that was off, this is what Simon did. He got rid of it. Go ahead.
Neither was there any that resisted him.
Right, so nobody put up a fight. Go ahead. So amongst Israel, now for somebody to resist him, remember, the people were already subdued, and for somebody to resist him, that's what you see when Israel come against Israel. When Israelites come against us. Okay. And they start talking against us. They're like, oh, get out of here. We don't want to hear that. We don't believe that. They turning their ear away from hearing the laws. There was nobody doing that. This is your community that we're teaching now. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Then did they till their ground in peace, and the earth gave her increase, and the trees of the field their fruit.
Right, so everything was being blessed. Israel in the community, in the streets, the avenues, everything. It was right. Go ahead.
Verse 9. The ancient men sat all in the streets.
Right, so the older men, They set out. They were in the streets. Okay. Communing, that means they were talking. Go ahead.
Communing together of good things.
Right, they were communing together concerning the wealth of the land. They were talking about it. These were the aged men. They wasn't hooked on drugs. Because who put drugs in our community? The strangers, the other nations. They wasn't hooked on religion. You couldn't tell them nothing. Because who gave us religion? It ain't God the Father, the Most High. They wasn't hooked on drugs or alcohol. So they were sober-minded, and they were talking about the success of all the things that this brother was doing. Son, go ahead.
And the young men put on glorious and warlike apparel.
Right, so the young men, they put on nice things. So they were dressing like the soldiers and armies in Israel. That's how when we see the children, we would want the children to be wanting to dress like us. Oh man, can I have a garment? Can I have my shirt like that? You put fringes on it. Can I have a blue shirt? Can I have a garment? Can I have this? Y'all seen that little picture, and everybody liked that picture of, I think IUIC might have made it, of the little guy standing in the mirror. You know, he's probably about 3 or 4 foot tall with a purple garment on. But then inside of the mirror, he's bigger. So what is he thinking about? It's like, man, when I grow up, I want to be just like that. Do you understand? So that's how our children are supposed to be. But we're so spiritually bewitched, we yank our children. Don't listen to what they're saying. They take our flyers and put them in the trash. I tell the brothers, leave them there. Those are all paper witnesses against them that they threw it away. It was specially for them. Everything that we do, Israel, is spiritual. We don't, don't take it personal. That they take your flyer and they ball it up and they fold it or they chuck it in the trash can. Don't take none of that stuff personal. Just keep moving. But the children, they supposed to see us and want to dress like us. Because we're the examples in this world. But instead, I always call them what do you call it? The deserters. All the deserters, they want to be like a deserter. So they want to play basketball and football and baseball. I want to be like LeBron. I want to be like this. I want to be like that. Christ said, they that are highly esteemed in this world are an abomination unto God. The most, I ain't dealing with them. The games are unlawful. We are a holy nation of people that we should be trying to build and recover our nation. Okay? So you sisters out there, you dress your children in the apparels that you see the servants, the prophets in. That's how you dress your children. You want them to look like the older men. There's nothing wrong with them wanting to have a garment. Wanting them to have shirts with fringes on it. Wanting them to dress like the men. That's how you're supposed to be. Don't drag them and cover their eyes up and cover their ears up so that at least they should hear the law. The ancient men said all in the streets. This is what worked for us. Right, we showed you in the 8th chapter what worked for them. The Senate does work for them. But the Senate is for them. They say it's for the people, by the people. Right? It's for them, by them. So it works for them. Don't be crazy. Don't be ignorant of that thing. Just like with this. This is for us. It was for us, by us. The ancient men said in the streets, where 1 Maccabees 14:9, the ancient men said in the streets, communing together of good things, and the young men put on glorious and warlike. Because they wasn't able to go to war. You couldn't go to war unless you were 20 years old. But that sure didn't stop them from dressing like us. You saw them with them garments on, if they was down to their feet and they was running around, you know, maybe they had breastplates on and they were playing with sticks. You know, there was a scene in that movie that we was just quoting, Gladiators, right? Where the little boy was playing sword. And he was like, I'm Maximo, I'm the savior of Rome. You know, that's exactly, that's exactly how our children were. They wasn't saying that, though. They was saying they was Judas or somebody. Simon, or any one of the other soldiers. Okay, so now verse 10, 1 Maccabees 14 and 10. You got an apocryphal? Go ahead, Al.
This is 1 Maccabees 14 and 10. He provided victuals for the cities.
Uh-oh. Check this out. Now, when we read this, don't get it shook. They had 300 and something men. I'll go back and get it. 320 men that sat in council daily. This is one man that had enough common sense to say, my people need this. He provided what?
Victuals for the city.
Every city that Israel occupied, he provided food. He made sure we was good. This is what a true man of the Most High is going to do. Go ahead.
And set in them all manner of munition.
Munition. That sounds like that's missing a few letters. When you see munition, you normally see what? Ammunition. So he set up, what does ammunition come out of? Well, come out of weapons and stuff like that. So I don't believe that they had that, but they did have, they had the swords, and then I believe they had the weaponry to where they would use fire and stuff like that. Where they could throw bombs, they create stuff like that. So he set up posts, like stations, police stations, all throughout the city. Go ahead.
So that his honorable name was renowned unto the end of the world. He made peace in the land, and Israel rejoiced with great joy.
Right. That's what worked for us, Israel. Remember, it tells us that in Ecclesiastes 10, that one person, by one person, the city can be inhabited. All you have to do is be right and stand on what's right. And teach it. And live it. And and see that this truth flourish. Okay? Go ahead. He ain't finished. Read.
For every man sat under his vine and his fig tree, and there was none to fray them.
And there was none to fray them. That means like get away, keep it moving, no loitering. You understand? There was nobody to do that. Go ahead.
Neither was there any left in the land to fight against them.
Neither was there any left in the land to fight against them. What land? That's the land of Israel. Go ahead.
Yea, the kings themselves were overthrown in those days.
So what is that telling you? That there were no foreigners inside of the land. There was no strangers. Wouldn't we want to see that day? A day where there's just Israelites and there's no other nation inside of our people. Standing over our people. Driving down the street. Riding, walking, jogging, flying. This dude took the air. And can't nobody go through the air but him. Dude, how you going to take airspace? That's given to everybody that's born on the face of the earth, but you can't have, I can't get airspace, man. Can't travel on the ground. All right. So, we in 1 Maccabees 14, this is crazy. There was nobody. This is what this one brother did. There was nobody to telling you to keep moving. Telling you what to do. This is what the apostles in Acts, the 1st chapter, was asking. Are you now at this time going to restore the kingdom again to Israel? Are you going to make it like this? But we have the understanding to want what? We want the whole world. We want it all. We want it all. Keep your cars, keep your money, keep all of it. We want it all. We want it all, and we want to destroy some of y'all, and the rest, we want to put you to work. Just like my man said, I want 100,000 of them. We want to put them all to work. We want it all. No, we don't want just, a subdivision with houses. You see our community is destroyed, look like bombs hit it. And then you start building little one-story houses on a slab. Or with a basement on it or whatever. The environment is still the same. We don't want you at all. We don't want you to rule. We don't want you to do nothing but work. So, 1 Maccabees 14, and where'd you stop at?
14.
14, go ahead.
Moreover, he strengthened all those of his people that were brought low.
So, if he saw people that were laying down, now you see the poor, what did he do? He made them stronger. Yeah. He made them stronger. If people, that's where the apostles get that spirit from, that they had all things what? In common. Right. People, the Most High gave them a spirit that they came and they set things at the feet of the apostles. And those that had, they sold it, and they came and gave the money, and the apostles distributed to every man that had need. So those that were low, he's strengthening it. Go ahead.
The law he searched out.
Right, the law he searched out. So along with that, he also was making sure that he was teaching the laws. Because if somebody was doing something wrong, then they got corrected. And I'm sure that they were doing things wrong. But just because that they were doing things wrong doesn't mean that he oppressed them or they went without. You're reading it right here. So you got Israelites that are doing things wrong and breaking the laws, and the nations, they say, oh, we're not going to do this because you're going to tear it up. We're not going to, we're not going to give you money because you're going to leave where you at and you're going to come where we live at. We're not going to build houses because you're going to tear them up. We don't come down there and do work because you're going to rob us. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. When he saw, he searched the laws out, but he's still strengthening the people. That's what you're reading. Go ahead.
And every contemptor of the law and wicked person he took away.
Right. So if there was somebody that was speaking evil and going off, what did he do? He put them out. Yeah, he put them out. Okay? Go ahead.
He beautified the sanctuary.
Right. He beautified, in his time, he beautified the sanctuary. Go ahead.
And multiplied the vessels of the temple.
Right. Okay? So that's what it was like under Simon. So as you can see, that every nation is going to take care of themselves. And that's one reason why you don't see us being provided for by our oppressors. But you see that they provide. They'll flat out tell you, oh, we don't have money for that. That's not in the budget. Teachers want more money. That's not in the budget, Shalom. That's not in the budget. But then they build a stadium. Okay, Matthew 24. Matthew 24:14. So Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. Okay, so it's going to when this thing is going to be over? Did we miss something that we grab? We can be finished that. So many shall come in my name, saying, I am what? Christ, and shall deceive many. So I am Christ, meaning what? I'm a follower of Christ. Okay, I'm a follower of Christ. Not so much as I am him, but I follow him. Okay. And will deceive many. And have deceived many. And will continue. That's why you got to go off actions, Israel. What is a person doing? What is a person doing? Whenever somebody gonna try and teach you something, that's the deception part there. When somebody, should you know, this is a good question. Should you know your teachers? You should. The scriptures say do what? It says prove a friend. Okay, go to Ecclesiastes. I want 8. Ecclesiastes 8:19.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 19. Open not thine heart to every man.
Open not. Wait for y'all to get it. All right, read it.
Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 19. Open not thine heart to every man.
All right, open not your heart to every man. Okay? Why? Because you can definitely end up being deceived. You gotta prove, man. You got the scriptures say prove a friend. You gotta prove. And that takes time. You gotta get to know people in their life. They have to bring forth fruit. Israel, we have to make, ones that's teaching you what sacrifices, have they made in this truth. They made sacrifices. You're gonna see, you're gonna hear. They haven't, but they just talking. You're gonna get a shrewd turn. You're gonna end up being deceived. Open not thy heart to every man. So let's go back. Many shall say, I am Christ, and I follow Christ. I'm just like Christ, and shall deceive many. So Israel gonna run into that. Ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Nation shall rise up against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines, pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places. So we've experienced all of these things. The nations fighting one against another. World wars, 1, 2. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. When you read verse 9, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you. It happens today. Israelites giving up other Israelites, and brothers dying, and you being hated. Why? For his name's sake. You've been labeled a hate group. They call it the Black Hebrews, or the Black Hebrew Israelites. They got to keep that black in there. Why is that? Because they don't want to call you by your name. Okay? Then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another and hate one another. Why is Israel offended? Because of the law, because of their sins, their faults, how they think, what they feel. Why would they betray one another? Because anytime somebody betray you, why did Judas betray Christ? Because he was covetous. Yeah, he was covetous. In two ways. One way is the money. What was the other way? One way is the money. What is the other way? Who did he betray? That's a hint. Something we already know, but I'm asking. Look at who he betrayed.
Christ.
Right. So, if the obvious, you already know he betrayed the Christ over the money, what will be the first reason he will betray him? What'd you say? Okay, why would he hate him? Hatred, okay. Okay. Let's use an example. Basketball. You got one superstar and one as a player. The superstar is teaching the player how to play. The regular average player betrays the superstar for money. Why would he do it? To become a superstar? That ain't gonna make him a superstar. Jealousy? Okay. Jealousy. Jealousy. Yeah, jealousy. So he betrayed Christ for jealousy. We don't have to be jealous of one another. That's why it says, and shall betray one another. Did Elisha betray Elijah? Mm-hmm. And he ended up with twice the spirit. Right. He ended up with twice the spirit. And shall hate one another. So it's a lot of hatred in Israel because of this. Many false prophets shall rise. Well, let me read that again. And many prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. But it said that they were false. In order to deceive somebody, what you're saying has got to be convincing. It has to really, really appear right. I mean, it has to have some support to it. It has to be very convincing and persuasive. But it's wrong. And because iniquity shall abound and the love of many wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So with Israel, we have to endure through hell and high water, through thick and thin. We have to endure all of these things. Now, what is that? Thessalonians. 2 Thessalonians. Chapter 2. Okay. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 1.
This is 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 1. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
Right. So the day where Israel is gonna live again and their kingdom is not gonna happen, is that's what he's saying, except there come a falling away first. So that, remember, what did we all want at the time? We wanted the kingdom to be restored. But that day to be restored is not going to come. Just like doing Simon and all of that, and the be at peace. Before the Americas, and we were there, he was teaching this. Because that's a small glimpse. I mean, that was supposed to be headquarters to the world, just like Rome is at this point headquarters. And everybody, marches to the temple. They have subdued everything and everybody. So it wasn't going to come except a falling away came first. Go ahead.
And that man of sin be revealed.
So now, and that man of sin be revealed. So Israel, we would have to reveal who that man of sin is, and what sin is, and what he's doing. Go ahead.
The son of perdition.
The Bible says that he's the son of what? Destruction. That's what perdition means. He's the son of destruction. Go ahead.
Who opposes
right.
and exalted himself above all that is called God.
Right. He opposed it and exalted himself above all that is called God. Go ahead.
Or that is worship. So that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
So now, who is this referring to? So that he as God sitteth in the temple of God. How does he sit in the temple of God? Think about it. How does he sit in the temple of God? Okay, what'd you say? A picture? The images? What is the temple of God? The church? I ain't drawing today. So now, the temple of God is the people. So who's in the midst of the Israelites as God? What man is in the midst of Israel as a God and have people worshiping him, showing himself that he is God? That's right. The Romans, Esau. So now, you know how we supposed to fear God? Right. We supposed to fear him. Israel is fearing this man like that. It's to the point, we already read John 11, that they were afraid to let Christ do his job because their God was going to take away their place and nation from them. So they had so much respect in the nation of Israel that Paul said, this dude, he's got to be revealed for what he is. He's no God at all. He's just a man. He's just a man. Okay, verse 5.
Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might reveal in his time.
Now you know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in this time, so we would understand what's stopping the end from coming. The man has got to be exposed. And that's why you see prophets prophesying about the fall of the Roman Empire. Okay. That's masquerading and calling themselves holiness and righteous and white. No, you are Edom, the Bible talks about. Okay. Now, verse 7.
For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit.
About teaching. Go ahead.
And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Go ahead.
Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan.
Right, because he has the power of Satan, because Satan has given him the power to run everything. Okay? Revelations. Yeah, 13 and 7. Revelations 13, and you can start verse 4.
This is Revelations chapter 13 and verse 4. And they worship the dragon.
Oh, you can actually start at 1.
This is Revelations 13 and 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
Right, so that represents the European Union and its common markets. Okay, go ahead.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority.
And the dragon gave him his power. So it gave the beast the power. It was the dragon, Satan. And he gave him power. He gave him a seat in the earth. And he gave him great authority. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. And his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast.
Right, so they go in power, then they came out of power, then they come back. Go ahead.
And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast.
And they worshiped Satan, who gave power unto the... So that's who all these nations deal with. That's where they get their power from. Okay, go ahead.
And they worshiped the beast.
And they worshiped the beast. Go ahead.
Saying, who is like unto the beast?
Who is like unto the beast? So when you read in Thessalonians, and this man has set himself up to be the Most High on this earth, in the body of, the Christ, which is the people, Israel, we have to expose that and say, no, this man is not the Most High. All right? You can't do this. You can't think like that. You got to serve the Most High. And this man is the deceiver that the scriptures talk about. Okay, go ahead.
Who is able to make war with him?
Right, who is able to make war? Because remember, he subdued kingdoms. He rocked the earth. You go up against him, he sent soldiers, armies, bombs, everything, to the point to where everything is subdued. But the Most High is going to bring him down. Hold this and go to 14. Isaiah 14. The nations are going to be at awe when he come down. Revelations, and then we're going to go back and finish. Revelation chapter 14. Yeah, Isaiah, I'm sorry. Isaiah 14. Thanks. And 4.
This is Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Lord has broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindered. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fellow is come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirred up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Or art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee.
Right, the pomp is talking about just the highness. The highness. I'll get the definition for us. So it says pomp, ceremony, and splendor display, especially at a public event. Synonym: ceremony, ceremonial, solemnity, ritual, display, spectacle, magnificence, majesty, glory, brilliance, drama. Yes. That pomp. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave. And the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, my man. And the worms cover thee. Verse 12.
How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?
This ain't talking about Satan. Lucifer is talking about the nation of Edom. You have failed from heaven, from your high state of being, from being the top nation on the earth that rocked kingdoms. You have failed down to the earth, O Lucifer. Okay? Go ahead.
Son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
Right. How? Through sin. You weakened the nations through sin. Go ahead.
For thou hast said in thine heart,
Go ahead.
I will ascend into heaven.
Go ahead.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
Go ahead.
I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation.
What congregation? The Israelites. You say sinners. The Israelites. I'm going to sit amongst the mount of the congregation. I am going to be over these people. These people are going to serve me. You say that you want 100,000. Guess what, my man? You fell way short. This man got millions and millions and millions of servants. You see what I'm saying? He's over these Israelites right now. He have us, our grandparents, our children, our grandchildren. He's got every generation. He said he's going to exalt his throne above the stars of God and sit upon the mount of the congregation in the what? In the sides of the north. Go ahead.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
I will be like the Most High. So he's got to come down. And the Lord going to do it is doing it with the spirit of his mouth by us teaching and telling people this man is just a man. This man is not God. You understand? This man actually come out of our loins. Why would a parent worship a child? Come on. So, let's continue. Let's go back to Revelations 13. And we're going to pick it up a little bit so we can try and get out of here. Revelations chapter 13 and 5, I'll read it. It says, there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. He opened his mouth to blaspheme against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. It's going into the change of everything concerning the scriptures. Verse 7, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life. How is Israel worshiping him? Because remember, let's see, is it in this chapter? About the image. It was given unto him to make an image. So that's how Israel, that's one form. Okay?
Yeah, 14.
And the 14th verse. Okay, we'll read down to it. Verse 8, and all that worship, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written. And so you can tell when our people are serious, because we'll say, what color is Christ? He ain't no color, he's a spirit. I asked the sister, I said, well, didn't he walk on the earth? If he walked, a spirit, you know, a spirit, he has a body. So if he had a body according to the scriptures, and he had woolly hair, and his feet was like bronze, then what color is that you would say he was a spirit? I said, see, that's because this is the conscience that who's worshiping this man here, and not, you know, according to the scriptures, whose names are not written in the book of life. So Israel, if you feel like that, there are a lot of people that think and feel like that. You're like, oh, he's a spirit, he has no color. You're only saying that because this man is in your head as God, when he's not God. He's the enemy of God. It's written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear it. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. This is the same person that led the people of God into captivity. The Bible says that they are going into captivity. There ain't no delivering them from captivity. It ain't some of them going into captivity and some of them are in heaven. It didn't happen like that. And the heaven I'm talking about is the state of heaven that's on the earth, high above. We just read in Isaiah 14, hell from beneath is coming to meet you, buddy. At your coming. Your pomp is gone. Your vows, your music, your lifestyle, it's over. The gig is up. You've reached your point. You're going into captivity. You don't get to share the kingdom of heaven with the Israelites. Daniel chapter 2. Daniel chapter 2 and 44. Okay, go ahead.
This is Daniel 2:44. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom.
Right, because the one that's here is void and void. It's no good. So the Father is going to set up his own kingdom. Go ahead.
Which shall never be destroyed.
Which is not going to be destroyed no more. So the stuff that y'all doing, you're going to keep doing it. You're going to keep doing it. When you read Isaiah 66, you're going to keep every Sabbath. You're going to keep the high days. You're going to keep the dress code. Okay? The kingdom is never going to be destroyed. Go ahead.
And the kingdom shall not be left to other people.
And the kingdom is not going to be left to other people. So can't nobody else inherit the kingdom of the Father except the Israelites. They're going into captivity. Go ahead.
But it shall break in pieces.
But it shall snap. It shall break in pieces. Go ahead.
And consume all these kingdoms.
So all these other kingdoms, they're going into captivity. You're going to consume them. That means you're going to destroy them. And then this kingdom here is going to lead the earth the way it's supposed to be left. Go ahead.
And it shall stand forever.
And it's going to stand forever. Go ahead.
For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands.
Right, without help. That's Christ. That's the stone. Go ahead.
And that it break in pieces the iron. The brass.
The clay. Go ahead.
The clay.
The gold.
The silver.
Right.
And the gold.
And so all these different nations, these are all different nations. Christ's going to take them down. You don't have no bombs, man. No tanks. No soldiers. Your army has deserted you. They running up and down, toting the football very fast. Why you can't run up somebody and run up their chest and kapow, kick them and then run back? You know what I'm saying? You don't run a football, man. They be hitting the baseball 300 yards. Why can't you hit a grenade there for? Throw a grenade there for? Come on, they deserted you. They deserted your army is gone. We have no army. You have no army. The biggest, the fastest, the chief men, they got you. Yeah, they plan is diabolical. They prime us from children. They want everyone to be smart. That's why in the hood it's all dead. People scratching their scalp. They don't know what to do. They'll be sitting right next to, right next to an abandoned building and nothing is telling them, turn it into a supermarket for your people, man. Instead, they make it the local crack house and dare you to come by it. And you better not snitch. We gonna kill you. The base. The base, man. So, let's lose that. Oh, we didn't finish this, right? Go ahead.
The great God had made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter.
You're going to be destroyed. So what's going to happen to you? So we'll go back to Revelations 13. Revelations 13 and 10. He that leadeth in captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. There's no other way to end this thing. Because they not just handing it over. Hand over the earth. Y'all start falling on swords. They're not going to do that. Break yourself. I mean, strip yourself of everything. Don't leave a coin in your pocket. Take the jewelry off. Take everything. You think they're going to do that? And just walk away straight bare and come into handcuffs like they want us to do. They don't want you to flinch. If you flinch, you resist an arrest. You think they want to surrender like that? They're not going to surrender, man. So what has to happen? They must be killed with the sword. The same way they figure that we ain't going to surrender, we must be killed then. Our brothers are losing their life because they don't want to go into shackles with them. And 90%, and that's a high percentage, 90% of the time, Black men are saying what? What's the common statement that you hearing when they're being cuffed? I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. What did I do? I didn't do nothing. Just tell me, what did I do? And they refusing to get into the cuffs. Those be the ones that get beat up bad, if not lose their life. And then you get some that surrender. It's like they like for people to be handicapped before they do you. They have to cuff you to do you. That's a coward. Here is the patience and faith of the saints, Israel. This Revelations 13 and 10. The saints of the Most High are waiting for somebody to go into captivity. The saints of the Most High is waiting for somebody to be killed. The saints of the Most High ain't trying to live at enmity with nobody, with no other nation. The saints of the Most High is waiting for this stone that's carved out without hand to come and smite all of these nations and to bring peace unto the Israelites. The saints of the Most High is only concerned about the people of the Most High. They're not trying to give their inheritance into somebody else. I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns, like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him. Why is that? Because they're related. Names don't make you separate. Greeks and the Romans, they're the same people. They don't make you separate. And he caused the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. That's war. When fire come down from heaven, that means from the sky above. That's war. Those are bombs. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of what? Those miracles, meaning those bombs which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. So now people are afraid. We're afraid. Oh, I can't do nothing about it. I can't do nothing. I'm afraid for my life. I can't do nothing. I can't stop it. Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. Now they want to control. Remember, his whole objective was to be what? God. Which had the wound by the sword and did live. And he had the power to give life unto the image of the beast. How? Because the image was a real man. What was the man's name? Caesar Borgia. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell save he which had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. What is that mark of the beast? It's several things. What is that mark of the beast? We've taught it before. It didn't change. We don't have to teach it every week. We got to teach the laws. Okay. The first mark of the beast, they implemented it. I'll go back and show it to you. Let's go back. What was that? Maccabees 8 we was at? First Maccabees 8. First Maccabees 8, and I'll read it and give it to the brother in verse 4, and let's see if y'all can catch it. Okay. And Judas He had heard of the fame of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of enmity with all that came with them, and that they were men of great valor. It was told him also of the wars and noble acts which they had done among the Galatians, and how they had conquered them and brought them under tribute, and what they had done in the country of Spain for the winning of the mines of the silver and gold, which is there. Verse 4.
And that by their policy and patience they had conquered all the place, though it were very far from them, and the kings also that came against them from the uttermost part of the earth, till they had discomfited them and given them a great overthrow, so that the rest did give them tribute every year.
So 1 Maccabees 1 and 4. So the question is, the mark of the beast. Right. There are several marks that represents the mark of the beast. There are several things. What's one of them? The answer is in the 4th verse. The answer is in the 4th verse. It's a word in there. You know, everybody got to pay taxes. And Christ's going to tell you, he told you to give tribute to whom tribute is due. He's going to tell you to take the mark, so it's not tribute. Right, their policy. Their policy. Because what do they policy? Daniel 8. What do their policy have the tendency to do? What do they use the policy to do? I would tell you, but then we be going to Daniel 8 for nothing. Somebody said it, that's one thing. Daniel chapter 8. Daniel 8 and start at verse 23.
This is Daniel chapter 8 and 23. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full.
Stop. Verse 21. The rough gate is the king of Grecia. And the great horn which is between his eyes is the first king. Now that being broken were 4 stood up for it. 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not of his power. So he will be all European kingdoms. Okay? And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of first countenance and dark understanding sentences shall stand up. So you would expect a king to come that's not ignorant, is what the Bible is saying. Go ahead.
And his policy shall be mighty.
And his policy, no.
I'm sorry, and his power shall be mighty.
Right, and his power shall be mighty, meaning he has the authority to do what he wants to do. So now, are the other nations concerned about this, about his power? No, they consent to him. They go with him. Remember, does the Senate work for them?
Yep.
It worked for them, but it doesn't work for us. So we're the ones that are affected by his power. Okay? This lets you know possibly what king this could be referring to. Okay? The king that wants to destroy the Israelites, because he's the first king in a while that came out and straight giving us the bird. He's giving us the middle finger. All the other kings before were pretending, you know, had Israelites or black folks standing next to him and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I want the black folk. I think that we needed this and we need that. You understand? But this one here, no, he's going to use his power. Okay? Go ahead.
But not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully.
Right, he's going to destroy. Remember, when it says destroy wonderfully, every kingdom divided against itself shall not stand. So this is not talking about that he's going to destroy his kingdom. He's going to destroy other white folks. He's going to destroy Arabs. He's going to destroy Africans. He's going to destroy East Indians. It's not talking about that. It's talking about he's going to destroy our world and our society and our communities and our mind. He's going to destroy us. Go ahead.
And shall prosper.
Right, and shall prosper. How does kings prosper? How does kings prosper? Meaning he's going to get away with it. No, man. How does kings prosper? How does people prosper? How does the king that's in the how is he prospering? Don't think about his money, because money is not it. Support from the people. Because no matter what he do, he's still supported by the people. As far as women, he said grab him in the crouch. He's still supported. You know, can't nobody be like that. You can't be no leader like that and you promiscuous. You understand? He's deporting so-called aliens, right, from their own land. You don't know his woman is an alien. His woman is a foreigner from another country. And not only that, she's a whore. She was a whore. You understand? Still, prosperity. People still won't take him down. Why is that? Because he's the only one that flat out is really saying, I hate niggas and spics. Make America great again. Make it the way it was. He's the first one in a long time that's coming out saying, hey, let's go back to the good old days. See, y'all got to know what that means, man. You can't, this world is so cruel. You got to be smart enough not to just, pound it and pound it and pound it, or you'll come up missing. They'll come deal with you. So your objective is got to teach Israel to repent. But you still got to be aware when situations come out, stuff being spoken. You got to put it in your heart and in your spirit, and you got to ponder upon it. You got to remember. We can't just, go around drilling it in. Because the stuff that we're preaching about was during the time of Christ and the apostles. And how much did they drill or say about it? Not all the time. They said it, Israel had to get it and be gone with it and remember it and keep moving. Okay? So now, where do we stop? 24. So he shall destroy wonderfully and shall prosper. And practice, that's dealing with Satan, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. Okay? Because I told you this is all dealing with Israel. And here it comes. And through his policy, that's his what? It's his world peace. Also, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. When you craft something, that means you build. He's causing things to be built and to prosper in his hand. And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. Okay, so if you go for that okie doke, you got the mark of the beast. In your hand and in your head, you go for that, You go for the image. You go for his religion. You serve him. You keeping pagan holidays. They devilish. You go for the unclean lifestyle. That's what this is. You already marked. You got the mindset of these people. The scriptures teach us, if you have that mindset, you're going to die. All right? He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. Okay? Go to Isaiah. About being thrust through, is that?
13, 15.
Isaiah 13, thank you. Isaiah chapter 13 and 13. Remember, so the Father is showing Isaiah the burden of Babylon. Same nation. Okay, go ahead.
Isaiah 13 and 13. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place, in the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger.
Right, so that's the end of the world. The day of his fierce, that's the day of the Lord. So you know this ain't talking about no time before then. Go ahead.
And it shall be as the chase robe, and as the sheep that no man taketh up.
Right, everybody running around, destruction, people dying easily. Go ahead.
And they shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. Every one that is found shall be thrust through, and every one that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
Right, so you joined unto them how? Spiritually. Okay. Spiritually, emotionally, religiously. The Lord said, everyone that is found, you're going to be thrust through. The Lord going to kill you. All right, so let's lose that. And go back to Revelations 13 and 16.
This is Revelations 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
Right. Okay. So your mind, because remember it says all. So your mind, because you got some people, check this out. Some people try to be slick. In their mind, you have people that worship them, right? You marked. But then you got some people that don't worship them, but you commit what? You commit your sins. You committed sins. And what your right hand represent? Your strength. Your strength. You put your hand to it. You still doing that. Okay? So that's one form of it. The other form is the actual RFID chip. You ain't supposed to put nothing into your body. You don't let nobody put in something into your body. They're going to inject, turn you into an Android or a damn iPhone. turn you into a computer, a robot. A human robot that they can control and keep tabs. They mess around and be able to detonate, and then the thing poison you because it's going to be in your bloodstream. Verse 17.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark.
Right, you won't be able to buy or sell. Okay? They already showing you that they doing it. So it's coming to a city near you. So you have to be able to control. You have to be able to control yourself and rule your spirit so that you can survive, you know, through hard times. You never know. They're going to give this man 8 years. How long has it been? Just one. Just one. That's a long time, man.
Yeah.
7 more years, and he off and running. Everybody understand what I'm talking about, right? So that's a long time to be in the hand of a terrorist. Somebody that's unstable. How long did it take? So, remember this. Let me see. So, in Isaiah chapter 13 and 14, it says, "They shall every man turn to his own people and flee into his own land." The man actually is trying to evacuate the states. He's trying to evacuate the states. Once he evacuates the states, who's here? Yeah, we're left with a bunch of demons that's waiting to do what they keep putting in motion picture called purge. Mm-hmm. They're waiting to get riled up. What they call the good old days. Make America great again. That's an insult. You understand? If you lived in a house with somebody and then these people and this man actually abused you, I mean, straight whoop on you. And then, you know, from time to time, he keeps saying, "I'm going to make this house like it used to be. I'm going to make this house great again." The thing, you're going to be thinking like, you don't realize you used to straight whoop my ass. You understand? You're going to be like, wait a second, what does that mean? Because your memory is like, this didn't go well for me. So how are we to take this? It's never been great. So Israel, we have to discipline ourselves. Listen to this though. We have to discipline ourselves and prepare.
Hello. Please enter your 6-digit conference code. Welcome to free conference calling. The conference has not started.
I'm sorry, let me get this conference back.
We will now connect you to your call. You are the first attendee in this conference. The host has joined the conference. Conference recording started.
We record all classes, so if somebody ever want a CD, then, you know, you can listen to CDs and, you know, in the car and stuff like that. But you have to discipline yourself. And the Lord is dropping this understanding on us for a reason. Now, if it don't happen, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. If it doesn't happen in your lifetime, you escape some of it. You understand? But if it falls out in your time and you are hooked on corn fructose, corn syrup, preservatives, sodas, and all this other lifestyle, you're going to be sick. Literally. Your body going to go through withdrawals. You're going to go crazy. You have got to begin. I've started some years back. You have got to enlighten yourself to the point to where you know what a herb is that's in the common yard. It's called a weed. They're not weeds. Though, but you got to be able to identify them. Some are not good. A lot of them is good. We can be outside and survive. Because remember, he turned the whole world into a concrete world. But before, it was all what? They made it plantation. So all this was acres and acres and acres of nothing but growing. So some of the wild stuff that you see, those things are edibles. Those things are edible. So you gotta be able to identify certain mints, lettuces, cabbages, berries, nuts. Some of the balls that you see, you just roll over them on the street. Those are walnuts. Those are walnuts. You don't even know it. It's a walnut tree around the corner. People just treat it like it's trash. They just roll right over the walnuts. It's sitting on the curb. Right there, like right out there on the curb. 5 minutes, 2-3 minutes from here. But they go to the store and spend $10 for a 1 pound bag of walnuts. When all you have to do is be smart enough. I started to be like, yo, do you know that this is a walnut tree right outside your house, man? But they don't know. So Israel, we got to detox, decontaminate ourselves, test your spirit, fast from certain things, because it come a point in a time that this happened into your life and they telling you that, now you need to go ahead and be programmed. That these benefits, these benefits, the banking system or the banking world or this, that, and the third, is going, it's a small surgical procedure, outpatient, that it has to happen. What you gonna do? How many of us have went into the store? How many of us have went into the store to use your credit card, the plain ones without the chip, and it on the day it stopped working? You're like, I know I got money on here, or your debit card, I got money, and then just to remember that envelope that came in the mail that you felt it had the card in it, but you didn't open or up, you know what I'm saying? And then you couldn't purchase. It happened to me. Did it happen to anybody else in here? Nobody else? You? Yeah, so y'all understand what I'm saying happened. You go into the store.
The old, they phased out the old ones.
Yeah, I'm sure. You go into the store. I think this might be the one I did it with. See, I don't even got numbers on this. It's on the back. I went into the store, and the other ones didn't have no chip on it. It's just all the cards, right? And I'm sitting there using it. I'm like, I know I got money. I'm swiping. I'm like, man, okay. Then I remember. Then I go home and open an envelope, and here go one with the chip. I'm like, Lord, they went from not having the chip to the chip. Same account. The chip work, the other card don't. So what's going to happen after this? You go and this don't work. And if you don't have this, they did this without saying. You don't have this, all your money's stuck in there. Or what if they just decide to just go digital? It's all based upon merits, based upon digital. Instead of handing you, they already got you primed with what? It's called direct deposit. So it never hits your hand anyway. It goes from one person to his cousin to the bank, and then the bank hold it, and you just swipe it. You just swipe it. So they taking your money, piling all our monies together, and charging other people to loan them our money, and they making interest off of our money, and we getting it $20, $30 here at a time. We better create a plan. You better create a plan. First of all, you got to stop envying and hating each other, because that person is going to be somebody that you're going to need for mental, spiritually, physically support. Because it's bound to it's going to happen, whether it's in our lifetime or not. But it's going to happen to where you won't be able to buy or sell except you have that mark. If you don't have to have surgery, don't. Because when they put you up under, ain't no telling what they doing to you. How do we avoid surgeries? Keep the commandments. The Most High don't have to jack you up. So, let's go back to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And 9. So it says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power. So it's already telling you who gives this man the power. Satan. With power and signs and lying wonders. The things that make you go, oh, that you think is something, is nothing. It's a lie. With all deceivableness of unrighteousness. It says, in them that perish. So our people that go after it, you're going to perish. Because they receive not the love of the truth. What's the love of the truth? The word of God, the the Most High. Not money. Some of you want to hear the truth, but you want money. Money, you want us to compare with the lion, with the power and signs and lying wonders, with the working of Satan. We ain't coming with power, signs, and lying wonders. No, we're coming with the word of truth that's supposed to, it says that they might be saved. To save you from what? The sins. Remember, we read on Tuesday, what's that? Ezekiel 33, about the iniquities and pining away. So we're coming with the word to keep you from falling apart. What's the first thing that leaves on a person's mind? On a person, their mind. I just gave the answer. The first thing that leaves on you is your mind. I mean, your mind will be bugged out to where you will stop actually fighting to get this thing right and then give yourself over to your own lust. That's the first thing to leave is the mind. You're like, I'm tired of fighting. And give yourself over to the lust. For this cause, God shall send them what? Strong delusion that they should believe a lie. So a lot of brothers and sisters out here, you have a very strong delusion. That means you have a reason to believe what you believe. Why is that? Because instead of resulting into the Most High our power, what did we do? We went into the nations for help. We went into something outside of the world of Israel for help. And therefore, the Lord gave you over to your lust and your suspicion. And you have a strong delusion like, oh man, this is right. It's got to be right. The Lord said, you believe a lie. You believe something that's not true. The Lord said, never trust your enemies. Anything that comes from the enemies, the Lord said, never trust it. Remember, he has a history of bringing peace in and then destroying you. Okay? That they might be damned who believe not the truth. What is the truth? The laws. But had pleasure in unrighteousness. All right? So, Jeremiah 30, and we'll end it here after Jeremiah 30. Okay, Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 10.
This is Jeremiah chapter 30 and 10.
Actually, I'll read from 1 and then give it to you back at 10. Just for the sake of people not understanding about how the scriptures called the tribulation we're going to go into. The word of the Lord, the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, thus speak the Lord God of Israel, saying, write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in the book. So when people be like, who wrote the Bible? Who wrote the Bible? The Most High gave the word. And here it is. He told Jeremiah to write it down. For lo, the days come, said the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, said the Lord. And I will cause them to return to the land that I gave unto their fathers, and they shall possess it. And these are the words that the Lord spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus says the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doeth travail with child. No, we don't, but we heard like it. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in pain, travail. And all the faces are turned into paleness, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. So the stuff that we were referring to is referring to Israel in the last days, having the nations turn against us, or the ones that got us captive turn against us, and all the other nations, you know, majority of them, you know, left. So it's not like, well, they left us in the hands of these people. They're in on it too. Okay. But he shall be saved out of it. So the last time we taught about Jacob's trouble, we taught about how to survive, because the Most High did say that he will be with you. How do you survive Jacob's trouble? I'm teaching you. I know about Jacob's trouble. I know about the mark of the beast. I don't want to spook you and scare you, and now that's all in your mind. The objective is to teach you how to survive. It could break out. When it breaks out, or you'll automatically be spiritually prepared. Because what is the Most High teaching you to do? Obey his voice. Listen to his counselors. Listen to his elders. Keep the commandments. Stay together. Brotherly love. You understand? Have love one for. How is that going to defend you? Easy. During the time of 70 AD, when the Romans came in with Titus and Vespasian, Christ had gave commandment to his apostles and to the rest of the people, saying, when you see Jerusalem surrounded, he told them what to do, right? Everybody that kept the commandments in faith in him, they did it. Remember, he said, don't come down from the rooftop. Don't go back into the house. Don't do this. But he said, flee. Get the heck out of there right away, right? When we went through the story, do you know that there was a great onslaught? Because there was a lot of people that did not listen to those instructions. But those that were obedient, they were able to survive. They were able to remember, as Josephus quotes, that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa. Okay? So, a lot of those people that were believers, I'm sure some that was like maybe, in between or whatever, they got away too. But the ones that wanted to save their life because they had relied on the Father, they were able to deliver themselves because of those instructions. So we have got to learn to have a mind that's well instructed in keeping of these commandments so that we are worthy of being delivered. Josephus himself was a captive. They left him alive to tell the story. That's how he knows. So he didn't escape. So where we stop at? Verse 8. Yeah, for it shall come to pass in that day, said the Lord of hosts, I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will bust thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves from him, but they shall serve the Lord their God, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Go ahead.
Verse 10. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar.
Right. See, so during Jacob's trouble, what did he say? Is the Lord going to save sinners? The Lord said, all the sinners of my people shall die. So the objective is to teach you not to sin. And that's why we constantly going to quote over and over and over what not to do, what not to do, what not to do, what not to do. Over and over and over. And then tell you, hey, brother, let's talk about it. Why are you doing this? Do you understand that the Lord he don't have laws? I'm going to say this, and y'all tell me what's missing. Laws, statutes, and commandments. What am I leaving out? Judgments. That's right, and judgments. So there's a consequence that you have no control over concerning the law that you break it. So a lot of times I'm going to have to tell about my personal experience to say, yo, brother, you don't want to do that. The Most High will put his hands on you. See, he put his hands on me. Look at that. Or I might say, I know another brother. The Most High, put his hands on. I know a sister. I know this. To bring this thing to life so that you can see that if you don't want this to happen unto you, then you need to avoid it by coming back to the keeping of the commandments. I tell you, this brother, he was just somebody in Israel at this point. Years ago, brother was in the school. He was out of order. He was out of order because I guess his wife, he didn't have control over his house. You understand? His wife. Anyway, they found him dead on the Sabbath. So it's something to me and this brother here because we knew him. He sat in the congregation with us. You understand? We knew him. He sat in the congregation. We've been in the congregation before where the Most High killed brothers. Killed men that knew this Bible. But because they was breaking laws, the Most High put them away. So we have to say that. How many of you can say, oh, I know somebody that was in the commandments and they was keeping the laws and the Most High killed them? Or they was in the truth and they died. They were in the truth and they were died. And you would, and you have to guess that, and you say, well, man, this person had fell away. That's what I'm saying. This wasn't somebody that was fighting like you brothers and sisters, showing up 3 times a week, You know, as long as I've been alive, you know, we've been doing this. Almost, it feel like it. We've been doing this. So the point is, it says, He's going to deliver you from that. So don't be afraid of Jacob's trouble. Everybody, that's going Jacob's trouble, the mark of the beast, FEMA camps. They're going to put you in here. They're going to put you in there. They're going to dog you out. They're going to do this. They're going to feed you with Flint, Michigan water. And now you're afraid. It's going to be what it's going to be. But what did the scripture say? I will save thee from afar. And we have to believe that. We have to say that. We have to feel like, hey, I'm worth saving. I'm worth saving. I'm the salt in this earth. We are the welfare of this world. We are the lights of this world. Please save us. You understand? We're going to do some help. We good for your youth. We're no good if we're destroyed. Right? Right. So let the Most High, if it happens in your lifetime, you want to be somebody that He saved. Not if this person die, ain't no loss because you was worthless. And thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and be in rest. So don't be afraid. If you're keeping the commandments, you ain't going to be afraid. I'm not saying that you're not going to be conscious to the point to where you're cautious. You're like, hey, I need to prepare. I need to get my spirit right. I need to increase my faith. Even the apostles are like, Lord, increase our faith. You want to increase your faith. You got to prepare your body. Stuff like that. You know, do we exercise? How many of us exercise? These people got all of this stuff down to a science. They got us all out of shape. We can't run 50 feet. Let me shorten it down. 25 feet. You can't run 25 feet. Okay, sprint. See? We don't know what to eat. We don't exercise. We can't run. Do we hunt? Do we know how to fish? Do we purify water? You know how to purify water? You know how to start a fire? Do you know how to keep warm? What if you're outside? What's water repellent? Can you build shelter for yourself? Or you will do it yourself if you have to makeshift something. Can you be creative enough to survive? These are the things that needs to come to mind. And are we going to be solo? The answer is no. We're going to be with each other. We're going to be with each other. We're going to help each other. Can this person cook? This person knows what's, you understand? What's edible. This brother knows a lot of stuff what's edible. We go outside and eat now and ain't ashamed. We come back up here with all kind of grass and stuff. You'll be like, what is that? Like, this is food. Brother, wash it. We finna eat it. We'll go straight woodsman on you. Yeah, for real. We'll go straight woodsman. We'll be in your flower bed and know what plants know how to make tea and know what these teas do. This leaf will stop pain. This leaf will stop a headache. This leaf will stop this. This will do that. Have to be versatile. It's okay. It's a process. It's a learning process. We did that before. Y'all in here, that's y'all remember we been through the herbs and all of that stuff and how I explained it. This herb does this and this is what it looks like. You can find this here and you can find it. We can't do it every day all the time. Because we don't need to know about herbs all the time. We need to know about sin all the time. Possessing the spirit all the time. Because we get angry all the time. And we pressure with lust all the time. And sometimes some of us would even be pressured with turning back all the time. Because if somebody else caused me to feel like this, right? Wrong. Wrong. If they going off, let them go off. You got a job to do. Keep the commandments. Like, right. No, you ain't blaming, turning around on somebody else. I ain't gonna do this because you ain't doing this. See, you make me mad. Please. I like it when you say, I don't like it, but when you say that, no, you mad because you get mad. Just like you ate that hamburger because you like hamburger. You made me eat this hamburger. What's up, brother? See, right? You made me eat this. I make you eat that. You do what you want to do. So we're Isaiah chapter 30 and 11. Go ahead.
For I am with thee.
For I am with thee. Go ahead.
Saith the Lord, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations.
Right. He gonna whoop their butt. Go ahead.
Whether I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee. But I will correct thee in measure.
The Lord said he gonna correct us in measure. And that's why we have problems that we have. Go ahead.
And will not leave thee altogether unpunished.
Right. Go ahead.
For thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. All thy lovers have forgotten thee.
Right, because we depend on the policy and the trickery and the smooth saying of this world. We have bruises incurable, wounds that are grievous, medicines that ain't healing. All of these things, vexation of spirit, and the ones that we love, turn it back on us. The scriptures say we have watched for a nation that cannot save us. How do you watch for a nation that can't save us? You know how you peek out the window and you looking to see if somebody arrived? You are always looking for these people to be what? A better person. Oh, I know it's something good about the white man. He gonna do this and he gonna do that. He ain't gonna do nothing for you, man. He ain't gonna do nothing, ain't did nothing, ain't gonna never do nothing but continue to look out for his people and keep his Senate house together that profits them, not us. That's why the Lord said, your lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not. They not looking out for you. We got to wake up, man. We got to look out for one another. If we want a store, we got to open up a store. Whatever we want, we got to do it. Our necessities that you got to get it from them. That's the scriptures. The Lord said you're going to serve him for the one of all things. But for the most part, you want organic food? Plant your garden. I'm gonna say, who would in here like to plant a garden? Y'all like to plant a garden? So I got a lot, and I'm gonna get another one, probably 2 more. And I actually would love for us to do that. It's too late this year. But, how y'all say for real, we could do it. We could do it. And y'all can plant anything on there. That we can plant anything that we want to. We can organize it. And I mean have some big old crops too. And have enough space. And eat good too. All you gotta do is research, because I don't know that. Research what to grow and how to grow it. And the good thing is, by us living in the city, and the lots are next to places that are owned, so that you can run water hose and you could just water it every day. You can just water it, and it ain't nothing on your water bill because it's flat rate billing, opposed to like St. Louis County. St. Louis County, you stay there, people don't even want to water their grass. The grass dead. I'm like, why you don't water your grass? Oh, you know, water bill. Like it can't spare a cup. This thing is dry. They wait for it to rain. Y'all live in St. Louis County? No. Yeah, St. Louis County like that. But that's a good idea, man. You grow tomatoes, peppers, greens, grow a lot of stuff. All right? And then for us to have worked in the field and come from people that worked in the field, why we got no skills? You understand? We got no skills and working. We don't even want to plant grass. We got no skills. It's probably in us though. Especially if we reap the benefits from it and we see it, shoot, we'll get on the ball. I had some real nice greens. I don't know if it was last season. My wife's sister planted some stuff in her backyard. She didn't know what she had. She gave them greens away. They were so good. Yeah. All right. So finishing up. Where we stop at?
14.
14. So all thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek not thee. For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, and the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thy iniquity. So it shows you why we jacked. Because thy sins were increased. So if you increase in sin, you're going to increase in wounds. Go ahead.
Verse 15. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquity. Because thy sins were increased, I have done these things unto thee.
So this is a good precept to show somebody. Right, congregation? Because our sins increase, the Most High, He do these things to us. All we have to do is stop. Who hurts? What hurts more? When we stop ourselves or when He stops us?
When He stops us.
Yeah, when He stops us, it hurts a whole lot more. It hurts a lot more. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured. And all thine adversaries, every one of them, and not one short or less, shall go into captivity. Good precept. Remember that. Jeremiah 30:16. Every one of them shall go into captivity. So you can't be married to them, and that's an exception. Is there an exception for Becky? Nope. She's going into captivity. Is there an exception for Luke? Nope. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil. So there ain't no saving them. And all that prey upon thee will I have for a prey. Sit back and just milk you. The Most High sees the nations in your community and sit back. They sit back and they prey upon you. What have they invested in our community? It's time to start that community. What have they invested, the so-called Chinese, African, Arab, white men? What have they invested in our community? Nothing. They just prey upon you. They set up shop, take the money, and they be gone. We're going to stop it. But do y'all know why? I know why. But do y'all know why mom and pop stores, what they used to call it, mom and pop stores, because actually they went back to it. Yeah, the Arabs came in and went back to it. Do you know why the mom and pop stores went out of business? Why? Why y'all think it went out of business? Dre? Obadiah, like, don't call me. They what?
They were going to empower the community.
They were going to empower the community. So they went out of stores. So I don't know, man. Why'd they go out of business?
Oh, why they go out of business?
Lightheaded. Why'd they go out of business? Okay. Say, for instance, you down on the corner and you open up a store. You selling everything. You got the snacks for the tax. You got the snacks going on. You got everything going on that people need. People coming in and they buying. Why would it force you to be out of business? Why would you stop? I'm done with you, man. Why would you stop, Dwight? Man, he get brand new up in here.
Get this motherfucker bread, man.
Why would you stop?
Why would you stop? Somebody on here selling cheaper drugs. Why would they stop? You got a corner, y'all. Whether you brothers you on here, you got a corner store, and it's booming. What would make you stop? Cost of products, no. Yash, why would you stop?
Because people hatred. They breaking in. They robbing you blind.
This is a stick up. Everybody face down.
Self-genocide.
Grab the gat so that they don't make a sound. How do you see them say it? This is a stick up. Everybody face down. You getting robbed, man. They killing you. Israel was killing their own people. They was robbing their own people.
Right.
So you up in there and you making, let's say when you up in there and you make $800 that day. Well, that's a nice wage right there. And you might do that a few times, a few months. But what happens when they come in there and they got them damn shotguns? Excuse me, they got shotguns and they pointing at you, man. And they ain't got no sense. Remember hold up. Remember, y'all know the barbecue man that be on King's Highway on Sowell's lot?
Yes, sir.
Remember they killed his son? They was trying to rob him? Right across the street from AutoZone. The barbecue man. They robbed him and killed his son. And his son tried to stop him. His son, this was just a few years ago. His son tried to stop him. And the man wished, that dude's, he's from Haiti. The dude wished that his son had never tried to stop him. He said he wanted his son to just let him take the stuff and go, but his son tried to be a superhero. They killed him. When I was young, probably about 12 years old, me and a friend at that time, his uncle, his daddy's brother, had a corner store on the corner of Lee and Fair. That was a store. So we walked from Fairground Park after football, Little League football practice, and his dad would pick us up from there. I was always happy to go there because it was a store, and we'd be begging his uncle for snacks. Well, we go through the back. It's probably like 9:30. We go through the back, walk in on a robbery, man. I'm like 12 years old. I see them shotguns. The guys just looked up. I turn around. I'm gone. He said, where you going? I said, nowhere. He just shot me in the back. Man, I hit the door and I ran all the way to my aunt's house. We never went there again. It's a lot now, though. Corner Lee and Fur on the left-hand side if you're leaving Fairground. So, I guess we're going to be finished, man. Where did we stop at? 15, 16, 17, we read that.
We read 16.
Okay, y'all can finish reading it on your own, because I'm sorry, we're way over and I didn't know that we was this far over. Matthew 26. But if you want something, Israel, you're gonna have to get it yourself. You're gonna have to learn to do some stuff like that, or planting and stuff. Damon said selling cheaper or cost of products. If it was that easy. So y'all notice why in the neighborhoods, what ain't nobody go down there and fix them corner stores up? Nobody bold enough. But for some reason, these nations come in and put them up and stay open, try to stay open 24 hours a day. Don't nobody touch them, do they? They'll blow you to smithereens, though, because they think that your life is worthless. So-called black man go up in there, his life is worthless. They'll set you up, cut a hole in your roof, try to come in through the back door, all kinds of stuff. Father, help us. We don't know what we're doing. We just hate each other to the umpteen problem. What you say?
Does it make you want to own the store and just hire some white workers or something?
They don't even know that.
Right.
I don't fry.
But at the same time, I actually was thinking about opening up some stores. But instead of being greedy and staying open all night, because I know how devilish our people is, from morning to late afternoon, and that's all you get. Morning from late afternoon, you got to be greedy. I owe no mortgage. I'd have to own the place. You understand? So I just got utilities or whatever. You know, give my children a job, teach them about finances, about, you know, being self-sufficient, stuff like that. You know, hire brothers. You know how you go in, but it won't be none of the stuff that you see. No cigarettes, no weed, paraphernalia, no condoms. They can be like, what kind of store is this? This is a commandment-keeping establishment. But have some good stuff, though. Have food. No cigars, no none of that. Everything right. All right. Matthew 26. Now when Christ was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Yahushua understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought the good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me you have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this that this woman hath done be told for a memorial of her. So all praises to the Most High for giving his sister the spirit to come forth and bring forth a beautiful example of a broken and contrite heart, and also giving Christ some comfort for his burial. Okay, so right now we're finna go into the communion, 1 Corinthians 11 and 23. Okay? For I received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that Hamashiach Yahushua, where it says Lord Jesus. Okay? That's the pronunciation of the Savior's name in Hebrew, Yahushua. The same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, Take, eat, this is my body which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, This cup is a New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as ye drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eat it and drink it unworthily, for he that eat it and drink it is unworthily, eat it and drink it damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause, many are weak and sickly among you, many sleep. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. So, most high in the name of Christ, thank you for the food and drink, amen. This is his body which is broken for you. Okay, this is blood. Okay, Israel, we're going to stand and face Jerusalem. Okay, Most High in Christ bless everybody. Don't forget to share the video before you leave. Tag a friend in it, okay? Okay, Israel.
If every man was just like me, what kind of sanctuary would this be?
The Lord's Prayer, Matthew 6 and 9. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
The laborer's prayer, Luke 10 and 2. Therefore say unto them, the harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Pray therefore the Lord of the harvest that he will send forth laborers into his harvest. Bless you, Most High, King of heaven and earth, and all things, Most High, in the name of the Christ. Send more disciples and teachers to your harvest, to gather your people Israel, and send counsel behind your laws to stand before the people Israel. Give to us strength to break down our lives with thy word. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
The blessing of Israel, Numbers chapter 6 and 24. Children of Israel, the Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And in Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Let the children of Israel bless one another.
Most High in the name of Christ bless you all.
So, maybe, huh?
Just check Facebook. Just check Facebook. No, I'm saying don't you put it on Facebook. Check Facebook.
Yeah. Kind of says that. Kind of say that both together. You got to make a run. We ain't going to work like, so I was like, yeah. I ain't gonna do
Right.
What's up, sis? I sent it to me. What you talking about? What you talking about? Let me get in here.
No. Hey.
What's up, Brother Russell? Shalom. What's up, brother? What's up? Yahweh, Shalom. Who else is left? What's up? Morty, Noble, Kalinda. What's up, Damon? Sheila. Who else is left? Okay, Israel, I'm gonna let y'all go. Peace.